Well, a very good day to you, folks, and welcome. I've got Peter Reid, my good friend from Bazzo Real Estate. How you doing, Pete?
Very well, mate. Always well.
Thank you so much for joining us today and, having a chat.
Yeah, no problems at all.
So how long have you been in real estate, Pete?
Like coming up 25 years.
25 years. So what made you get into real estate?
Mate, I was in the car trade for probably around the same length of time, and or about 20 odd years, and I tried to look at something I think I could get a very, very good income very quickly, and real estate made sense.
Yeah. Okay. And so what area? Tell the viewers what area you work in.
Okay, we're located about 14 kilometres northeast of the city, in Ballajura, or Malaga now. We've moved our office just off Ballajura into the commercial area. We cover anything, mate. I've got property from Mundaring to Rockingham right now, so wherever we need to go.
Okay, and price point? What price point are you working in?
Again, everywhere. I sold a commercial unit for 300,000 the other day, and I sold a place in Ballajura for just a shade over 900. So again, we're just working all the price points. To me, irrelevant. It's just a matter of where we need to be.
And tell me the journey in your 25 years, mate. Because so you came in pre 2000, yeah. So 96, 97. How was the market, and how did you go in those early years? Because you're now obviously a owner of an office. How long have you been a principal and owned the office for?
I think 16 years now, 17 years. Actually. 16
years as a principal. Okay.
Yeah.
So talk to us about taking over the office. How did that come about? And what was the difference between being a rep and then owning an office? And kind of how you got your setup now.
I must admit, I wonder why I made the transition, but still, that's another story.
I think we all do, mate.
Yeah, as a rep, I worked for Torrens in Ballajura initially, and then transferred over to professionals. I was offered an opportunity to buy into Bazzo, which we did, and then we bought our partner that we went in with. We bought him out shortly after. But as a rep, it was just a matter of, it was tough goings in the early days. I mean, we had, I think, I can't even remember the median price at the time, but it was in the 100 somewhere. But I think the commission rates were higher. I think we were getting about 3.4 or 3.5% on average.
Yes.
But we just did what we needed to do, but we didn't have, I look back on it now, and I didn't have the structure I needed. And I think, and I've learned from an office perspective, that as a rep, I expected my agency to provide all the training. I expected my boss to be there by my side all the time. And not only is that not possible, but it didn't need to happen. I mean, I learned too late that I needed to have a coach or someone to be accountable to way back in the early days. And if I had that, I reckon I would have been a lot more successful in this industry.
Yeah, and it's the same old thing. I was studying something on psychology the other day, and they would say that most of us actually don't grow and learn because we believe we already know what we need to know in that industry or that particular topic or subject. So that's unfortunately, until somebody points out, no, there's a quicker, easier, better way to do that, do we go, holy shit, I had no idea. So obviously, you've been with me. This is your third year, and how's that helped? And what because you run an EBU, a team. You do quite huge volumes. How's it working for you now?
Mate, very well. We've actually just had our best 2 months in the last 3 years. in June, July. I think we did.
Congratulations, mate. That's
yeah,
awesome.
thanks, mate. We did 72K in June and 88 in July. So we were wrapped in numbers.
And your numbers, some of those comms are pretty low, yeah, because they're $200,000-300,000 proproperties.
Yeah.
So that's serious transactions. So
it's one of those things. The accountability side of it, I think, is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to come back to you I wasn't going to come back to you every month and say, hey, mate, I did 4 appraisals and 1 listing and 1 sale this month. It just wasn't going to happen. No. And I think that accountability side of it is really what's good for everyone in this industry.
Sure.
Have that accountability. It's also, you talked about learning earlier, and to me, it's not just about learning new techniques, but it's relearning the stuff you've forgotten to do. And I'll come to one of your sessions, or I'll be listening to a podcast or whatever it is, and I'll go, oh, shit, I used to do that, but I don't do it anymore. I forgot, and it's all those little bits and pieces that we need to do, or we used to do and don't do anymore. That's really important in this industry. It's the hardest, easiest job in the world. I don't think there's any other profession that without any diploma that you can earn as much as a prime minister or more.
No, I know.
And that's what real estate is.
And they do the lease training and sort of I suppose certification, which is bizarre.
Yeah, everything. I see so many reps out there that are just doing it by the seat of their pants all the time.
I know.
And it's just scary. And I think Julie pushed me into coming to meet with you, although and this isn't an ad for Ryan Thompson, but she pushed me into coming to see you and do the course 2-3 years ago, whichever it was. And it was a case of saying, okay, I've had coaches before, but now I'm with Ryan, and I know he's there to back me. I know he's there to share my wins and share my losses, and to make sure that we move in the right direction.
Yeah, great. I remember you turning up to Real Estate Intensive, we called it then, and you were there like half-heartedly, and I remember Julie saying to me, nudging me and saying, Ryan, you've just got to get him back in the game. I'll never forget that. And Julie's great, a great part of the business, and she runs your property management department and helps you with sales and administration. She's an absolute workhorse, and she's just amazing. But sometimes you just need that nudge, don't you?
Oh, without any doubt. Yeah. I think the realization is it wasn't up to my boss to groom me and make me, a better salesperson. It was up to me. Yeah. The opportunity we have in real estate, when you think about it, you're running your own business. It is your business. You determine on how much you earn.
Yes.
But your company that you work for is giving you all the basics of doing that. They're supplying the chair, the desk, the phone, and in some cases a retainer as well to go along with it, and you'll run the business. So you've got nothing to put into it except energy.
I know.
So, yeah.
So as a principal, mate, you would rather be a rep any day of the week?
Yeah. And I think that's it. It's one of those things where you try and assist your reps all the time. Yeah. But it's having the time for that. Yeah. And that's really the difficult part that I've had, is trying to motivate them. And sometimes when you're motivating other people, it might be silly, but you seem to run out of energy yourself and demotivate yourself. Yeah, there's a big sort of void between a rep and the understanding of what it actually takes to run an office. I remember this because I transitioned myself, and obviously the reps, their perception is that the office is making buckets of money, which is completely not the truth. I'd go as far as to say that you'd be lucky that 20% of offices are actually making profits.
So they think you're making all the money. They think all the leads, that everything that you're selling is coming through the office. They don't know that you've prospected, listed, built a database, built relationships, nurtured over the years to get that. So that's the perception. And then of course, yes, they expect the training, they expect the support, they expect everything, and then they want 80% of their commission, and that's just not possible. And when you become an owner, you go, well, I've got to pay the rent, I've got to pay the wages, I've got to pay retainers, I've got to pay for my share of the marketing, and then I've got to give them my time, sales meetings, coaching, performance appraisals, and there's very little left for you to make money on your own. So if you're not making money as a principal at profits, and you can't do it as a rep, it's a big thing. What I'm seeing at the moment is, then the reps leave if they any chop at all, and then what they do is they go to the high commission models. But there is actually a migration back to the traditional real estate office, because they go, okay, even though I probably wasn't supported, or I thought I wasn't supported, at least I had an infrastructure, at least I had a place to go, at least I had this, at least I had that. So it's funny how things turn, and some of the most successful offices, the principals are actually doing, working, basically their clients are the salespeople. And that's the shift that you have to make, I think, to be a successful business owner. Or you can, be a selling principal and make all the money doing it that way. I think you've got to make a choice, hey?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know whether you can be both anymore.
No. And rent roll, you've got quite a sizable rent roll as well.
Yeah, Gilly handles the rent roll there. I think there's about 250 or 60 odd properties there. So she does very well that, and assists me in selling along with Courtney.
Yeah.
The rent roll again, that should be chased a little bit harder, but again, it's just a matter of time right now.
Yeah. But you're making money in the sales, and that's obviously you're doing really, really well in that department with your EBU, Courtney, and of course Julie's helped running the office and the property management as well. So you've got a successful operation there. You've had some sort of ups and downs, as we all have, through the market and through, I suppose, decision making and choices with regards to how we're going to construct and build the office and location and I suppose offices and things like that. But what tips would you give? Let's start off with what tip would you give for an agent in an office who's doing quite well and possibly thinking of taking on an office or taking on a rent roll or becoming a manager? What advice would you give to them?
Get some advice from someone like yourself. Okay, sit down with you, and because you can look from the outside in and have a look and say, okay, at this situation you need an assistant. This is when you need another an office manager. This is the point. So you've got all different levels that you need to go to, but at what point do you do them? Sometimes you might take one on too early or too late, and it'll cost you money. So it's basically getting advice and getting accountability from the outside.
Great. And what advice would you give to a principal who's doing it tough with trying to manage a sales department, rent roll, trying to sell themselves? What advice or sort of helpful hints would you give them?
I don't think it's any different, Ryan. Like basically you still need to get an outside voice. You need to get someone who can look at the whole business from the outside and go, hey, I know he's a good bloke, but he might need to go.
Yeah.
So, like if someone's costing you money, I did this 4 or 5 years ago in regard to look at where the office income was coming from. And I realized that 2 of the people I had with me, I was supplying 95% of their leads and their listings. And they could have come into my team and I would have been able to handle it very, very easily. But I was farming out listings and to keep them occupied, whereas they weren't actually going out and doing it themselves. And I think if I'd have left them, when I say leave them to their own devices, if I'd have made them go and earn their own money, it would have been better for me, or been better for everyone.
Yeah, and it's hard not to. I made the same mistake. I fed my salespeople very handsomely. You know, I always took one for the team, so to speak, because I wanted to get them the experience, give them the income. And, you know, you end up doing that for years on end. And then you think to yourself, but these guys have been here years. Why aren't they getting their own business? So, but I suppose we have to take responsibility at some point that if there is no rookie academy or intermediate training platform, if there's no KPIs and there's not a system, then I suppose it does fall back on us. So at the end of the day, I think it's about just getting help. I think you spot on. Help is so important. Another thing you said there that was absolute gold was, the reinforcement theory. Just keep reinforcing what you've learned, relearning what you know, keep being reminded, keep accountable to your system, your structure, your goals, your vision, your ideals, and where you're heading.
No, totally agree. Absolutely agree. And
absolute gold.
It's I think the most important thing, I've learned over my 20 odd years in the industry is I waited till I can afford an assistant before I put one on. That was a mistake. And I waited until I could afford a coach before I went with one, and that was a mistake. If I had gone early, I believe I would have been much better off.
Yeah, mate, it's gold. Waiting for something to happen so that you can afford just never happens. It's like putting the cart before the horse.
Yep.
And there's no better accountability than actually getting the PA, getting the coach, the system, the structure, and putting it in place. Even when you can't afford it, the accountability that it gives you to be able to then afford it is unbelievable, isn't it? And they say that belief is belief becomes your reality. So the law of belief states that whatever you believe with feeling, whatever you commit to with feeling and emotion becomes your self-fulfilling prophecy. So it actually just manifests in the universe. So mate, so important. So I even bought a Lexus back in early 2005, 2006. I couldn't afford the damn thing, but I wanted it so bad. That's where my number plate goal came from. I wanted to remember this. I bought the Lexus and I got the number plate goal put on there because that was my goal. But I got fed up with waiting to afford it, that I just bought it, and it was a big ticket item. I couldn't afford it. And then I went out and because I had to make the payments of a couple of grand a month, I went out and got the listings and sales to be able to afford the Lexus. I'll never forget that. And that's exactly the same thing.
Yep, you had accountability. Accountability was
exactly.
To the bank.
I could imagine that truck rolling in and taking my Lexus, and that was accountability enough.
Yeah, exactly right.
So they call that reverse goals, or reverse accountability, where you actually commit to something. But remember, you're getting the use of that early. You're getting the use of that PA. You're getting the use of that coach and the knowledge and skill. I get a lot of people, Pete, say to me, "Oh, look, Ryan, I'm going to get some sales on the board, and then I'm going to come and join you." And that might be 6-12 months. And whenever they do come and join, they say, "Shit, mate, I just wish I'd have done it 6 or 12 months ago because I've been doing the wrong thing."
Yep, absolutely.
Unbelievable, mate. You're a wise man. You're a personal friend. I really enjoy your company. You've got a heart of gold, mate, and everyone around you absolutely loves you. You're a great member of Real Estate Brilliance, and all the members take a lot of value out of what you offer to the membership, and you're a true friend. So I just want to say on behalf of Real Estate Brilliance and myself, a big thank you and congratulations, mate. Keep being you, and we love you being part of our group.
Thanks, mate. Enjoy being part of your group as well.
Thanks, buddy. Cheers.
Bye.